What is going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in for this little quick special episode where we celebrate and talk about Billy the Kid getting elected into the Hall of Fame today. I'm one of your hosts, PK. We got the Dubon Fan Club president, Moreno, who's making the podcast rounds today. And we got Sweet B Bones, Mr. Bryles. Fellas, how was your snow day today?
Well, I mean, honestly, it was spent working. So I know the boys woke up this morning and they were like, "Dad, is it snowing?" And I said, "No, it's not. But be patient; it'll come." So yeah, I spent most of the day working, but then we did get to go out at about 3 o'clock, and I got hit by about 100 snowballs.
That's fair. That's fair. I did a lot of
Yeah,
the throwing today, so.
there you go. How
Oh,
was yours,
lucky
Bros?
enough. Oh, good, man. Is lucky enough. Our office was closed today, so I mean, I did a little bit of online stuff, but other than that, I was out with the kiddos at 8:30 this morning and running around in the snow, and it was really crazy to see like 2 to 3 inches of snow in Houston. I mean, that never ever happens. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw this much snow. So anyway, it was really awesome. It was fun to see it, and really good to see that Wags made it in today. So good day all the way around.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. Got to enjoy it with the kids and snowballs and all that good stuff. A lot of snow, and but I'll tell you what, I'm ready to get back to 40-degree, 50-degree days. You know, so the snow was cool for today, but I'm ready to get back to normal Southeast Texas weather. But yeah, great day for Astros, Houston Astros baseball. Another one of our own goes in. It's the third Houston Astro to go in. I'm assuming he's going to go in as an Astro. I would assume so. But yeah, man, Billy the Kid. Last year he was 5 votes away from getting elected. This year he makes it in on his last year of not eligibility, but on the ballot card. Chris, I was listening to a little bit of the Locked On Astros with you when you were on earlier today with them, and I didn't know about once the player gets off the ballot, then he still could get in on a legacy vote. But it makes sense for the player. I think it means more to get in, with your name on the ballot. So this, we just wanted to talk about Wags getting in. We're super pumped for him. Curious, Bryles. I asked Chris this before we went live, and we can talk about it later. We'll talk about Bryles, but I was just curious. How many former Astros, including Bags and Bidge, are in the Hall of Fame? Whether they went in as an Astro or not. I mean, obviously we know we only have 2 that went in as Astros, but out of how many players, former players, are that played for the Astros are in the Hall of Fame?
That is a good question. I mean, you've got Randy Johnson, you've got Nolan Ryan. Other than that, it gets real sketchy because we had some guys for like a year here and there. Yeah, that's all I've got as far as I know off the top of my head.
All right, Chris, what
Yeah,
you got?
I was.
You got a couple?
Yeah, actually, and like crazy thing is, I totally forgot about Randy Johnson. Like, of course I went with Nolan
Yeah.
Ryan. Of course, you got Bidge and Bag. Of course, you got to go with Joe Morgan. He's another one.
Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would like to
yeah.
think that Kurt Schilling technically count, right? Because he did. Does that one count? Because did he make any starts with the Astros?
I think he was only in our AAA system, right?
I don't think he made it to the big boy club, man. I think we moved. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's not
All
on the
right, that's
list, to
fair.
answer your question.
Okay. Did we say Nolan Ryan already?
We said Nolan. We
Yeah.
said Randy Johnson.
Okay.
We said Joe Morgan. I think
Biggio,
probably
Bagwell.
Biggio Bags. There's a
those
few.
were givens, yeah.
Yeah, so let's just run down the list real quick. Then we'll go.
All right, go ahead.
Talk,
Yeah.
We'll talk specifically about Bags or Wags. So Yogi Berra.
That's
Yogi Berra
right. He
Yogi
was
Berra.
an Astro. Yeah.
And a manager.
Leo Durocher. who's a manager. This would have been in
That's
72.
Yeah, Leo DeRocher. Yeah.
It's before my
Okay,
time.
Nellie Fox.
I've actually got a Nellie Fox jersey. I should have known that.
Okay, of course, Randy Johnson, Eddie Matthews.
Would not have guessed Eddie Matthews.
I would have known that one. Of course, Joe Morgan, Robin Roberts. This is back in the 60s.
Oh, that was a couple years before my time.
Go, Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah. Good old Pudge.
Pudge freaking Rodriguez.
We had Pudge in
We
the
had Pudge.
100 plus loss season. I forgot about that.
Nolan Ryan, of course, and Don Sutton is the list.
Yeah. Okay.
Don
Sutton. It was kind of interesting to see because when I was just, I don't know, I wasn't really doing some research. I just wanted to kind of just see, like how many Astros, how many players that have played for the Astros are actually in besides, Bidge and Bags, right? So it's kind of interesting to see that list. So, but anyways, big thing is that Wagner's in.
That's some good detective work, PK.
You like that?
It.
Hey, yeah,
I did.
I'm trying here. And then to go back to the Locked On podcast, Chris, that you were on earlier today, it was funny that Brett brought that story up about Wagner breaking his arm as a kid and learning to pitch left-handed, because I read that also prior to it, and the first thing that came to mind whenever he was talking about it was like, okay, not only was he right-handed prior to, breaks his arm, learns how to throw left-handed, but then he ends up throwing straight gas as his offhand. That's what's kind of crazy to me. And then of course he goes on now to be a Hall of Famer, but it's just amazing. I mean, when you're a God-given talent, like, you can break your arm and then throw with your off arm 99-100 miles an hour with a devastating slider. It's
consistently too, because he did it for 16 years.
Yeah.
So
okay, so he pitched for Houston, obviously, for 9 seasons. Went to play for Philly, right?
Yep.
Played for the Braves,
and I think the Mets too.
The Mets,
right?
And the Mets after that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost had the whole bingo for the NL East.
Almost did. Any memories you have? What's your first memory that comes to mind of Wags?
Did you say Browse? I don't want to cut him off.
Anybody.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
It's jacked up because when the first thing that popped in my head, and this is no pun intended, the very first memory that popped in my head is when he took that fastball off his face. I don't know why, but it just did. It's like I don't remember what team he was playing. But I mean, like, I just remember him taking that shot right back up to him in the face. But outside of that, man, like, that's Billy Wagner in the mid-90s Astros. I mean, that's like my childhood growing up.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, I mean, like, we're getting into the older ages of life where, like, now we're starting to see these guys make the Hall of Fame, that instead of catching them in like their twilight season, we're seeing these people play from the second they get called up all the way to they retire. You look at Biggio, you look at Bagwell, now Wagner. I mean, those 3 guys for me, I mean, that was my entire childhood of the Astros. So it's just like, it's fantastic to see him get it. I mean, I thought that he should have got it last year. But, again, it's just like, man, we're getting old now. Now these are, all the guys that, you look at it, it's like, man, he retired, 10 years ago. Holy crap, man. Yeah, where's the time gone?
No kidding.
But yeah, man, it's just, when I think of Billy Wagner, I think of late 90s Astros and their best uniforms of their entire existence. That's what I think of.
And the dude had tree trunks for freaking legs, man. Like tree trunks, straight up oak trunks as legs. I mean, that's how he was able to generate so much power. Plus, no, I just think about the dumb days, like you said, Chris, just the dumb days with the best unis they had. This lefty that comes out and just mows these fools down, like that slider to a lefty, like, you're not touching it. You're just not. He's gonna bust you inside with plus 95 fastball, and then hit you with an 88 on the outside, low and away. It's over. No chance.
No, he was dirty, man. He was. I mean, I'll let Brawls do his thing. So go ahead, Brawls.
No, what I was going to say is what the first thing is I think of is we had from those Killer Bees years, that whole era is in our bullpen. We had our setup guy in the seventh, our actual setup guy in the eighth, excuse me. And then, obviously our closer. And I felt like that kept going over and over and over again. Like we were just moving up and up and up until we got to Wagner. And then Wagner solidified that spot and came in and just mowed people down for years and years and years. It was great. I mean, if you want to compare him to anybody else as far as a relief pitcher is concerned, I mean, I put him a step under Mariano Rivera, but I mean, he's pretty damn close when it comes to the hierarchy of what actually happened and the stats he put up and stuff like that. And not only that, the one thing I did really, really want to say is you don't see relief pitchers going into the Hall that often. You see a lot of starting pitchers go in, but as far as the relief pitchers are concerned, you've got to be exceptional to actually even get the call or to be on the ballot to get the call and almost get there. And he actually made it. I was so excited to see it. That's where I'm going to leave it and just go with that.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Christy, I think you had mentioned something earlier that you had seen something on the MLB Network about where Wags, falls in line with the all-time best relievers or closers, and the guys ahead of him were, Hall of Famers. So you have Rivera, Rivera. I'm assuming Trevor Hoffman.
Yep.
Yeah, gotta be.
Was Eric Gagne on that list? Who was the other ones?
No. I think he would.
That's
Dennis
got to be the one too, right?
is another one.
Oh,
Eckersley. Going way back.
Yeah. So that's why I was kind of, my thing was, I almost thought it was damn near criminal that he didn't make it last year. Because I was going to get into it. I watched something earlier today, and the guys, and they're coming up with all these like nerd stats, but I mean, every one of their nerd stats. I mean, Wags was top 4, top 5, and every single one, and the only people that were above him were all Hall of Famers. I mean, so again, I can understand if this was like if Wagner was just like really good. I mean, but the numbers show for it. I mean, I'm excited that he made it in. Of course, anytime we can add another Astro to the Hall of Fame, especially a guy that we grew up watching, that's definitely fantastic. I do think it's a year too late, but better late than never.
So now does number 13 get retired?
Yes, absolutely. Guys in the Hall of Fame now.
I think it has to. I mean, it absolutely has to. The question, I think, is does he get a statue outside of the stadium? And
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
See.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Wagner was amazing, but he is not on that Bagwell
Rushmore
tier.
Yeah. Rushmore.
And like I said, when Altuve's time comes, they'll have to, add him to it. As much as I love Wagner, I think he's on maybe the tier below. I mean, because was he? I mean, I know he had the nickname Billy the Kid, but was he really a fan, like superstar favorite? Like you think of Biggio, like right now you think of Altuve. And again, this is not to drag the guy down in the mud. It's just I just don't think he was on that same tier within the hearts of Astros fans as Biggio and Bagwell are.
Well, and because those you look at Altuve, Bidge, Bags, those are career Astros, right? Like there was, I think if I remember right, there was only one time in Biggio's that I can remember Biggio's career where there was even a possibility of him leaving, and that was to go to Colorado, possibly. I think Altuve's obviously, he's going to finish his career. Bagwell, aside from the fact that he started with Boston, we got him, before he got to the show. But we ended up we moved on from Wags. But still, I think you retire number 13, put him up in the rafters. Maybe you get
an orange jacket,
and he gets the orange jacket. You'll get an orange jacket for sure, right? So, It's
He's not.
I agree.
He doesn't already. He's not already in the Astros Hall of Fame.
That's a good question. I don't know if he is or not.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
pretty sure he is. I'm
If
pretty
he's
sure
not,
he is.
he's getting in there right now.
Yeah, should be. If he doesn't, he should have one now.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? So, all right. So we got Wags into the Hall of Fame. Number 3, he is the third Astro to go in. So pumped for him. So glad for the Astros organization, for Wags himself. And now, we can spend the last few minutes of this little episode, man. We still got some holes to fill with the team. Looks like Santander signed with the Blue Jays, right? So, are we moving on to Profar or Verdugo or any outfielder that has a glove and a decent bat?
I mean, I just think that again, this is something that I talked on, with Brett with Locked On Astros. I just think it's one of those things you're going to get yourself all excited for, and then you're going to get let down. I honestly think that for whatever reason, Jim Crane has this bar set that there's a number that he wants to try to get under, and if it's not in the cards because we have McCormick on the roster or we have Presley on the roster, then it's not going to happen. Now, again, if it was me, yeah, man, I'd give Profar, 2 for 20. That's what I would do, and then I would just send McCormick down to AAA. But that's just me. But I would love one last little ace up the sleeve to bring us home into spring training. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I think that unless you see Ryan Presley get moved or another big contract like that getting moved, we're shopping in the bargain bin. I mean, that's where it is. Unless they're going to try to figure out one of the sneaky tactics of the NL West and defer some money, but we'll see how that happens. Hey, by the way, you're getting a $20 million signing bonus. You're making $5 this year. However, after you retire, you get $2 million every single year till you die. How about that?
There you go.
So
that deferral stuff, it really pisses me off, man. Like it really. There's got to be. I know there's a CBA coming up. What in 26 next year, right? Yeah, it ends this year or it ends next year.
And Manfred's contract's up next year too.
There's just got to be. Yeah, it'll be. There's just got to be something to. To tighten that up. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter because it's essentially up to the club's discretion to, pay for players into their 40s, I guess. But it's just wild. Their roster, Dodgers roster is wild.
I mean, I just don't think any more moves are going to get done. I think they're going to roll into spring training with their plethora of mediocre guys in the outfield. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Well, time will tell. We got what's today? Today is 21, so we have about 3 weeks.
Here we go. We got math with PK.
Yeah, math with PK is not. How many days are in January? 31.
31.
Yeah. I got to do the song
23 days
to done the days. So 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and then pitchers and catchers report on the 13th, and then the entire roster gets there on the 18th. So we're right freaking there, man. We're right there.
Yeah. I agree. We're getting close.
And now that football's winding down, now that football's winding down, it's like, come on, baseball season. For the love of God.
Yeah. I agree. I mean,
what else you got, guys?
I mean, not a whole lot unless y'all want to break down Little League baseball, which I'm sure you don't want to. That's pretty much been my entire life this entire weekend is 2 Little League drafts, 2, meet the coaches, trying to get all these parents signed up for the group chat. I'm freaking exhausted. Like we haven't even started going to practice yet, and I'm exhausted. So Yeah, but nobody wants to hear about that. You guys have anything? Anything we can get going?
No, I think, the main thing is we wanted to congratulate the Wagner, of course. There's still the outfield talk that we could probably do multiple episodes on until they figure out what they want to do. Of course, the Bregman is still out there. It's kind of just like the dog days of spring training, except now we're in pre-spring training, just waiting to see what these moves. There's a lot of players out there, man. That's kind of shocking that they're not signed. I know we talk about it almost every episode, but I feel like these guys, would want to be signed prior to spring training so that they're not wasting any spring training at bats, playing time. I know that they're working on their own, getting ready, but it's just wild to see that there's a lot of, mid-level guys that are just kind of sitting out there still. So
Yeah, who knows? By the time we go live for our normally scheduled episodes, maybe something will happen.
who knows?
Doubt
That's in 2 days.
For the time being, the snowstorm has hit the hot stove. So
yeah. So, well, all right, guys. I mean, first of all, I want to thank everyone that took the time to watch us tonight for this short little 20-minute piece. Again, normally, if you're new to the Juicebox Heroes, we go live every Thursday from 7:30 to whenever we run out of stuff to talk about. So again, thank you guys for listening. And PK, take us home.
Yes, sir. Make sure you follow us on X at Juice_Box Heroes. Follow us on Facebook at Juicebox Heroes. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Juicebox Heroes. And you are listening to the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm your host, PK. That's Chris. And that's Bryles. We will talk to y'all Thursday.
Congrats, Wags.
Let's go.